Okay, so once again, good morning to everyone. My name is Vlado Stankovsky. I work as a university professor at the Faculty of Computer and Information Science at the University of Ljubljana in Slovenia. We, as you know, have a newly launched project which is called Ontochain, and we are in the process of discussing and launching the first call of this project for additional participants. Related to this, we have organized these um, meetings or webinars, let's say, that are intended to discuss several viewpoints of this new project Ontochain, for which we believe would contribute a lot of new knowledge and, of course, also innovative solutions that would contribute to the foundations of the next generation internet, the way how the European Union and actually the citizens and the people of Europe believe it should be. So it is open to the widest public to contribute to these project ideas. So let me just share now my presentation, and we could discuss along the way, because we want to receive certain feedback from the public, so that we are capable in finishing the design of our first call for contributions. Um, so let me just share my screen first. Okay, so you will now see my presentation, right? Okay, so as you know, Ontochain, probably you have learned or you have read certain documents that we circulated, like an extended abstract of the project. The Ontochain project is focusing on the development of a new software ecosystem that would enable trusted, traceable, and transparent ontological knowledge management. These can be very valuable in certain circumstances where we have dynamic, semantically complex environments where people and resources meet once in a while to exchange certain values, to build certain new value. And of course, in the dynamic world that we live in, trust is becoming a very important issue. So we are considering everything which is related to trusted management of the information, either in the cyber physical world or in the world where information is being exchanged among dynamic ecosystems. So it's a new next generation internet project, as I said, and we believe that it represents already certain baseline for the future internet, because both knowledge and information are very valuable to humanity. And today, as we are witnessing in the internet, a lot of information is being spread, but the governors, those that are capable of organizing this information management, are only a few. So what we would like to achieve with this project is to go deeper to the human values, to the, let's say, those things that we have learned through the European cultural history, which, for example, represent the values of pluralism, pluralism of opinions, also political pluralism, democracy, and trust, and other values which are important, like human rights to the citizens of Europe, and of course beyond Europe, to humanity as a whole. So the project Ontochain empowers innovators and end users to develop blockchain-based knowledge management um, solutions that will be part of its novel protocol suite. And this protocol suite we have designed, so we have an idea how it should look like. And we want to include it, so this information exchange, which is trusted and so on. We believe there could be an ecosystem of actors around that, some sort of an marketplace where people would be exchanging or dynamically building ecosystems that they wish to use. For example, it could be car sharing system where we need to trust the parties in the system that dynamically come and go. It could be in medicine, it could be in practically any domain of human endeavor. In this project, we of course wish to also look for some partners, and we have actually designed that we are going to spend around 4.2 million euro funding to bring together a specific type of experts, not only, of course, academic experts, but also experts from the, let's say, real industrial and business world that would put together this critical, let's say, mass of expertise that would help us, at least if we are not capable of producing something really completely new in the project. At least we have an idea of how this should look for the next generation internet. So as I have been discussing this with a professor from Australia some years ago, if we want to see the future, we need to look deeper in our past, but not in 20 or 30 years, maybe in 1,000 or 2,000 years in the past, just to see and to understand how the future of humanity should be, and how the future, of course, of the internet that we want to design for ourselves as humans should look like in the future. So what we are designing here is not maybe for this 3 years only, but it's something as it would become a building block for the internet in the future. So what we would like to deliver in this project is some software, which we know is becoming from soft to softer, even softer, and it requires a lot of, let's say, softening power, or powder, let's say, that would make the internet more resilient. It would protect our privacy and user empowerment. There will be a lot of user empowerment. Fake news will not be spreading like we see them today. And there would be possible to exchange information with trust. We're going to use our identities in the way we like to use them, and with a certain, let's say, high probability that there is no fraud on the internet, and there will be sustainability. The data will, as we know, today in the internet, a lot of data is being generated, and the internet is becoming itself unsustainable with the amount of data being shared, which is sometimes not so important to humans. Like, for example, what has been on the table plate of president, let's say, of America. So let's think about the project itself, and how we wish to achieve a certain ecosystem of actors that will join the project and really help us contribute to these project ideas. We want to have around, so we're going to provide equity funding. So we are going to provide funding to expert organizations that are going to help us build this idea of the on-chain architecture, up to 200,000 euro. We are going to be helping and advising all these sectors to come together we are going to be organizing frequent meetings for all the participants to discuss important topics about the design and the applications of this new framework. And then we're going to discuss, of course, technologies, and we do have excellent technology partners in this project. We have Semantics from Italy and iExec, which is a blockchain company from France. And then we have also other, people that we are also inviting to these webinars and so on. So this is the way how we intend to build a community of people that are interested in the subject area, and we believe there would be such interest. In addition to this, we wish to spend this 4.2 million budget to first rethink our architecture and provide some prototypes in the first year that would vertically and horizontally analyze our architecture and provide the best possible innovative ideas of how we could achieve on-to-chain technology. And then we want to dig deeply with implementers. So the first year is going to end up with some technology specifications that in the second project year we wish to build together in a software ecosystem that can address specific aspects of Ontochain. And then in the third project year, we are going to spend 1.7 million euro only on use cases, demonstrations, and this kind of thing. So I guess I would now go to the core topics so that we can have some time with you to discuss. So let's go to see how the technology looks like. As we can see on this slide, even the semantic web technology stack, which we know it's an important technology stack that underpins the current internet, is depicted on the right-hand side of this slide. So as you can see, at the top level of this technology stack is the trust, achieving of trust. And as we know, blockchains are also helping people achieve trust. I mean, if people give money on these cryptocurrency exchanges and they actually exchange money with these, so this means that they at least have to trust the value exchange. So blockchain is also a technology that contributes to trust. So these two technologies, because ontology is a shared conceptualization of any environment, of any problem, of any reality, and blockchain is a shared ledger, we believe that this is the meeting point of these two technologies. And of course, maybe they're not going to meet in the present form. I'm completely sure they're not going to meet in the exact form as we see them today, but we believe that there is this potential in their meeting together. So as you can see, our technologies stack is actually based on several use cases which are related to trustworthy web and social media applications or domains, then trustworthy crowd sensing, trustworthy service orchestration, which is more on the level of containers and sharing of physical or let's say software resources across the computing continuum, and then decentralized and unsupervised online social networks. So how is it possible that we build a social network for what we need, like for example, for our neighborhood or for our school, and then use it in the context with other social networks and so on in a way that can use this semantics. So what we want to see is that so I'm trying to describe this architecture as you see it on the right hand side here, from the top to the bottom. So then we have two generic use cases types, which are related to trustworthy information exchange and trustworthy and transactional content handling. So traceability, authorized use, and so on. So, and then we have application protocols that are higher and lower level. Those that are lower level are usually connected somehow in this architecture to blockchain, like they operate via smart contracts, maybe a reasoning mechanism, maybe something else. Then they use authorization, certification, and so on. So on the lower level. On the upper level, we can also think of methods that are off-chain, which means that they do not necessarily need to reside and operate on blockchain, but they could interact with on-chain methods. So this could be, for example, decentralized oracles. There could be different identity verification methods, maybe in relation to the Internet of Things and so on. Then on the lower level, of course, are the blockchains. And for this, of course, there is a question of which of those blockchains that we currently know is the best blockchain to be used in the context of something like this. But really speaking, and we know about interledger protocols and things like this, but what we actually want to achieve is, of course, also something more practical in the project. So while studying the state of the art and looking at this visionary, architecture, let's say, we still want to be realistic in the context, and we still want to deal with those technologies that are, let's say, proven to work. Like, I don't know, Ethereum, Hyperledger Fabric. There could be other blockchains of innovative nature that could be proposed to be used in the context of the project. So now, speaking about trust critical use cases, I think these are known by many, so I wouldn't like to bother so much, but for example, we are now in the era when software is deciding for us even things that are safety critical. Like, for example, we are driving the car and the software should decide for us whether if we enter in the fog, before the tunnel, whether the infrastructure there and the cloud, let's say, infrastructure is going to compute on time, is going to not, crash the car in the wall of the tunnel, and similar things like that. So this is very cyber critical, and the events that are emitted by such software should be really trusted. For example, another case is whether the door of our home would automatically open to an unexpected visitor. So if the system knows that our door is always open to our friends, which is something that we would really like to have, right? As humans, we would like maybe 2000 years ago, it was not even the question whether the doors would close or open in a way like we consider them today, right? But people were still caring about their property and things like that. So we need to find the measure of how these things that we know from the past were very valuable to humans would still be able to operate on the internet, in the next generation internet. I'm speaking about the next generation internet. So what we want to achieve. And of course, sharing the photos and things like that, we need to know, we need to give consent whether, I don't know, big services are going to use our holiday photos to make analysis about some product or service and things like this. So the ideas of these onto blocks is that actually they contain all the information, the ontology, maybe the instances or references to instances of ontological information that could be used to make certain decisions. And these are happening via some sort of consensus mechanisms that contribute to building trust. Moreover, such blocks could stay in memory, could be used in storage, stored for longer period of time. I have been discussing, for example, with archivists. They wish to archive their documents for thousands of years. So these kind of things are important, and we need to know how these references to information and knowledge could be included in blockchain. We are currently witnessing that people, for example, put hashtags. For example, there is a photo being taken by someone, the hashtag is being recorded on blockchain, like on Ethereum. So what we want to achieve in the project is something even more exciting related to information and knowledge management. I hope this is clear, actually. And then, of course, there could be some designs that would deal with these blocks of information. They would be connecting them or disconnecting or making some other operations with such blocks. Maybe not in a chain, but in some other structures, like, for example, knowledge block forest, or knowledge trees. This is only from, let's say, imaginative viewpoint to give some boost to the ideas that and the progress that Ontochain could bring in the future. But we're currently witnessing prototypes. For example, you could in this application, one could contract a container to run artificial intelligence algorithm on top of some video stream. So imagine that people can gain a lot of information from analysis of such video streams. So we are entering a real world today of business that people are actually using AI to do all sorts of things and to, for example, obtain a lot of information that could be used in certain contexts. And for us, of course, it's important that we trust this information and we could verify it by independent sources, by independent algorithms, by independent all sorts of things on blockchain. So there is another design that we have been discussing, for example, with the Internet of Things that would, let's say, register information on blockchain, and events would be emitted from blockchain that other devices would subscribe to, such as the, let's say, car or the door of my personal home. So I mean my home. So this means that also there are other possible designs, as you can see on this figure, which would make it possible to attach knowledge bases or databases to blockchain for certain types of projects for temporary usage, so that one would be able to, let's say, do data or knowledge management along with blockchain to increase the reputation, the traceability, the, let's say, transparency of the activities or the actions that are done with data and knowledge on blockchain, and of course that we could trust the emitted events. So the orthogonal viewpoints, and I'm trying to finish, let's say, in 5 minutes from now, so that there are 25 minutes for discussion. So I want to, let's say, discuss orthogonal viewpoints considered for the first call, because I showed you an architecture. So what we want to do, and we're going to have around 6 open topics for this project. for the first phase of the project. So we have been considering as a consortium approximately 3 vertical and 3 horizontal, let's say, open topics, so that we are capable by the participants of this project or future, organizations that are going to join this initiative, um, are going to be able to contribute to the project vertically and horizontally, so that we attack somehow this architecture from all sides, from technology viewpoint and from applications viewpoint, so that we find the best possible applications that would be interesting for us to have, and from the best possible technologies, and we make a good match, and we end up with the first year with some sort of let's say architecture that would be let's say possible to implement by putting technological pieces together, by implementing certain use cases on top of that to show the value of Ontochain. And we have also considered certain subject areas. There could be others that you could think of. We definitely have thought about certain key performance indicators, and we think we could place our use cases in certain areas like health, content handling, also education, commerce, copyrights, for example, are something that we have been discussing a lot. So how do we trust copyrights? And of course, the enablement of such marketplace, which is in relation to, let's say, information and knowledge management, which is trusted and based on blockchain. So the 6 core topics that we have been discussing are related. The first one is about applications requirements, analysis for trusted knowledge management. This means that under this topic, I will show you a little bit more on all of these. Then how we deal with ontologies, knowledge bases, graph databases, and structured databases, and how do we integrate them with blockchains. How we perform on-chain knowledge management. So this means that we make it possible. For example, we have some maybe consensus protocols, maybe some other approaches that we could do reasoning on-chain, which is not energy consuming and which still takes, let's say, into consideration our requirements for trust in this domain. And then, of course, on-chain, as we discussed, then business models that would make it possible to build our ecosystem of actors that are interested in this new software ecosystem, and that are also interested in, contributing to it and implementing applications on top of it, and actually building a marketplace for trusted knowledge management. And then maybe some interoperability and integration aspects that are core to the Ontochain software ecosystem. So these are 6 core topics that we have been considering, but of course we are open to other topics as well. Here, let's say if we speak about proposals from applications requirements viewpoint, we expect that, of course, a participant would be interested in maybe one area, but if it is an end user, it could be of interest maybe to such a participant to also consider other use cases in other domains and see whether some of them would also apply to its own domain, So although we, for example, consider, let's say, e-content handling, and as I spoke already, we would like to see some expert partners that would take care about application requirements analysis, and what we actually want to have achieved, and the designs of these use cases for us, which are more generic and could be used across many domains. So it's this typical, let's say, requirement analysis part, which is essential to the design of a new architecture. From blockchain ontologies, it's how we use the structure of the structured knowledge in relation to blockchains. So this is also very important for us. And you can read here about some ideas that we have on these slides I'm presenting. On-chain data management, again, we have ideas of how this could be done. We have considered various use cases and functional requirements for this. So we want some expert, let's say, in software engineering, that would enter this from the viewpoint of on-chain data management, which means that we also need some expertise from the core areas of blockchain. Of course, we have considered off-chain knowledge management, as I said. For example, the prospects of smart oracles and how we deal with probability and how we deal with reputation models and integrate them with data provenance and authorization and so on. So there are a lot of technical topics here that are important to us. Um, I think that these things can be discussed also further after we receive some feedbacks from the participants, from the interested organizations. Maybe they would have some ideas of what we could include in here, or what would be the genuine interests of those that wish to participate in the project. And finally, also speaking about interoperability and integration, what we want to see is the design of the applications, onto-chain applications. For example, currently in software engineering, applications are designed with presentation tier, then they have business logic tier, they have data tier. So how this type of applications can be represented on our onto-chain software ecosystem, and how it can be made more generic in the way that one could implement typical onto-chain applications by using the future software ecosystem. So these are things that we wish to discuss definitely in the first year of the project, and there could be even more topics that we wish to discuss. Speaking about KPIs, we have thought about different KPIs. I have put here some KPIs. We wish to have, of course, publications. We wish to have, let's say, software prototypes. We wish to have proposals for framework design, which could be also, let's say, more research oriented. We could have specific state-of-the-art review documents, market assessment, and also contributors to the new software ecosystem. We wish to have a big community of contributors that are really and genuinely interested in onto-chain technology. So at this point, I would like to thank you very much to all of you for taking the time to listen to this presentation.